Hello and welcome to Sport Total. I wanted to turn your attention now to perhaps one of the most controversial stories of 2020 so far. As we know, the current pandemic will no doubt bring upon a lot more controversial stories in football, whether it regards to promotion or relegation or whatever, court battles. There will be more controversial stories to come, I'm sure. However, this one in the Polish third division will take the biscuit. It will take some beating because it was simply an unbelievable, a hugely controversial story. As we know, the current pandemic put a halt to football, not only across Europe, not only across the world, but also in Poland. Football was halted there, from the top tier to the very bottom of tiers, to junior football, to women's football. Football was put to a halt, just like in most of other countries around the globe. Now, as weeks went by, there were discussions trying to determine what do we do with the future of football in Poland. Now, it was determined that the Ekstraklasa would resume. It was determined that the first and second divisions would resume. And it was decided that the fourth division and everything below it would come to an end. However, as you may have noticed, there was no decision on the third division. Here's where the controversy kicks in. When football was halted because of the pandemic in the third division, Hutnik Krakow and Motor Lublin, which are the two teams involved, they were battling for promotion. When the final games were played before the season came to a sudden stop, Hutnik were top of the third division Group 4. Now that's a key thing here. The third division in Poland is split into 4 different groups. To give you an example, imagine the 6th tier in England. You've got the National League North and the National League South. Both make up the 6th tier. Well, the third division over in Poland, you have 4 different groups: North East, Northwest, Southeast and Southwest. Here we're talking about Group 4, Southeast, and it features Hutnik Krakow and Motor Lublin. Hutnik were top when football stopped. They had 36 points. Same as Motor Lublin. Motor Lublin was second on 36 points. The difference was, according to the rules, it's the team with the better head-to-head record which goes above the other one. And it was Hutnik who beat Motor Lublin by 1-0 in October. And it was that reason why Hutnik Krakow were top of the table when football came to a halt. Now, the thing we've got to remember is that the football authority in Poland, the governing body of football, PZPN, they are not in charge, they're not in control of the third division. The power is devolved to local football authorities, to the provinces. Now, there are 16 different provinces in Poland. As you can imagine, as you can probably guess mathematically, there are 4 different divisions, 4 different leagues in the third division, which means there are 4 provinces in every group. That goes for Group 4 as well. 4 different provinces. The way power is shared is it's shared on a rotational basis. So one province will be in charge of one of those groups on one season, and power will move on to the next province or county. The next year after that, it will move to the third and the fourth, and it will just rotate. The power rolls on. This season, the power is in hands of LZPL, which is a province in which is situated a team by the name of Motor Lublin, the team which at the time of when the football came to an end, they were second. So the football authority, which they're in, their province, LZPL, are in charge. They're in control of the 2019-2020 season of the third division, Group 4. Right, breathe. Now, they had a decision to make. Do we end the season now? Do we try and resume the season like the Ekstraklasa, like the first and second divisions? They decided no. They decided to end the season now, and they decided to promote the top team. But as it turns out, they didn't promote Hutnik Krakow. They promoted Motor Lublin, the team from their province, the team from their area. Now, this came after LZPL added a new resolution to the rules. This resolution called for a little change in the rule, which meant that head-to-heads could no longer be used as a determining factor because only one game had been played this season so far by Hutnik Krakow and Motor Lublin. We never got to the second game because of the pandemic, so only one fixture has taken place between these two teams. Therefore, according to the LZPL, they said we cannot determine the league leaders based on the head-to-heads if only one head-to-head was played. We have to move on to the second determining factor, which is goal difference. Happily for them, Motor Lublin had the better goal difference, and therefore they were promoted in LZPL's eyes. They were moved to top spot. All of this, the LZPN chairman is Zbigniew Bartnik. This is a man who is a former manager and a former player of Motor Lublin. What's more, there's an election looming over him for his position. So he did, well, to be fair to him, you can find some sort of sense in what he's saying. Yes, head-to-heads, should they count or should they not? Or when only one game has been played. However, you can't, I don't think, for ethical reasons perhaps, you can't add that a resolution so late into the season. Such resolutions should be already in the rules before the season begins. Now, as you can imagine, Hutnik were outraged, but I don't think they didn't expect that outrage to follow them around the country. This turned into a national story. When you turned on the news channel and it came to sports news, the first piece of news was not about the Ekstraklasa. The first piece of news was not about the Premier League, the Bundesliga or whatever. The first piece of sports news that was on the news channels was regarding this controversial situation in the third division. This unbelievable controversial situation between Hutnik Krakow and Motor Lublin. Hutnik went on to seek legal help. They had the backing of the city of Krakow. They all appealed. Now, it turned out later on that in an earlier meeting between the presidents of provincial football, it was agreed that when there is doubt, promotion issues will be decided on the pitch. So I guess Hutnik, maybe when the football came to a halt, they expected a playoff. Maybe they didn't expect to be promoted off the bat. But I don't think they expected to simply be pushed back into second place just because Motor Lublin, just because the LZPL decided to add this new resolution to the rules. Now, obviously, the PZPN, the football governing body over in Poland, the FA of Poland, emphasised they did not like LZPN's decision. And fair enough, fair play to them, Hutnik's appeals didn't go unheard. They didn't go unnoticed because PZPN, they put the case on last Wednesday, to the emergency committee of PZPN. And their decision was an unbelievable one. They decided that both Hutnik Krakow and Motor Lublin will be promoted to the second division. An unbelievable resolution to an unbelievably controversial story. So Hutnik Krakow in the end did get their justice. They did end up being promoted, but so were Motor Lublin. Now, the emergency committee of the PZPN included Zbigniew Boniek, the president, and of course the former Hutnik player Marek Kuzminski, as well as 4 other individuals. But to be fair to them, I think they made the right call. Otherwise, this would be a story that would drag on for years. But one of the things they have to take away from this is whether the rule that the third division is controlled by the local authorities, is that the right way to go or does that need to change? And I think they have already decided that that will change from 2020 to 2021 in the 2020-2021 campaign. However, there are still different questions that need to be asked. For example, Motor Lublin obviously were also given promotion. Both teams were promoted, but the rules certainly have to be tightened. They have to be more clear. These sorts of situations have to be anticipated where a season cannot be finished. Not only for reasons of a pandemic, but natural disasters happen all the time and things like that. There's got to be clarity in the rules, and there wasn't this time. We cannot get to a situation where the LZPL simply add a new resolution and promote a team that's from their area. things like that shouldn't happen. Polish football is already stained from previous incidents in its history, and as it looks to recover, it certainly needs to avoid these situations. The integrity of Polish football was hurt, but in the end, I think the correct decision was made, and finally Hutnik Krakow got their justice. Both them and Motor Lublin will be looking forward to a life in the second divisions, obviously if they get the licenses to play in those divisions. However, on this situation, on this controversial topic, justice was made, and we look forward to both teams playing in the second division.